Hello and welcome back to Gospel First. And today we're going to be focusing on Hebrews chapter 3 to 6, where we'll discuss how easy it is to drift spiritually and how to stay anchored in Christ before you even realize it's happening. Now, have you ever looked up and realized you're not where you used to be? Not in a dramatic way, but just slowly. A little less focused, a little less connection, a little less intention. And over time, that distance grows. Now, that's how drifting works. So let's find out how it works. Hebrews chapter 3 verse 8 warns us about this. He says, "Do not harden your hearts." Now this points back to people who saw God work, and still they pulled away. Not because they lacked evidence, but because they stopped trusting, and that leads to this. They were not able to enter because of their unbelief. And that's Hebrews chapter 3 verse 19. So the issue wasn't opportunity, it was belief. And that's important because drifting usually doesn't start with rebellion. It starts with hesitation. Now, I remember a time when I felt prompted to move forward in something, and it was clear, but I hesitated. Not because it was wrong, but because I wasn't sure how it would work out. And looking back, I can see it clearly now. I wasn't lacking direction, I was struggling to trust it. And this is where Hebrews brings in one of the most powerful truths. He says in verses 16 of chapter 4, he says, "Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence." Now think about that. Not cautiously, not uncertain, but confidently. Why? Because Christ understands you completely, not in theory, but in experience. So staying anchored isn't about trying harder, it's about staying connected. Now, picture someone who realizes they've drifted. They feel distant, disconnected, and they expect God to say, "You should have stayed closer." But instead, Christ says, "Come back," without any hesitation, no barrier, just simple grace. Well, that's it for another day. Thank you for staying faithful to the journey. May the Spirit continue to fill your heart and draw you closer to Jesus Christ. If your heart feels even a gentle nudge, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share so that we can spread the gospel of Jesus Christ together. And I'll see you next time as we continue our studies in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 1 to 4. And it's all about what actually changes you. Until then, God bless.